They lied to you about money. From the first time you stepped into a classroom, from the first time someone said, work hard and you'll succeed, from the first time you believed life was fair. But it isn't. The top 1% knows something the rest of the world doesn't, and they're not sharing it in school, on the news, or in motivational speeches. Because if everyone understood what you're about to hear, the entire system would collapse. Let me explain. You were trained to be a consumer, to follow orders, to seek safety, to chase paper and obey. But the top 1%, they were trained to think like creators. They weren't taught to work for money. They were taught to design the machine that prints it. While you chase income, they chase equity. While you grind 8 hours a day, they build systems that make money in the background. They're not working harder. They're working above the system. You're still trapped inside. Most people wake up tired, go to work, take orders, survive, then repeat. They don't question the routine. They don't challenge the rules, because the rules were written to benefit someone else. Here's what the 1% actually know. Money is not real. It's a belief system, nothing more. It's printed, manipulated, inflated, and gamed by those who understand it. You work for money, but money doesn't work for you. The 1% don't just work for money. They use money as a tool, a lever to control time, resources, and people. Jeff Bezos doesn't clock in. He built a machine. Now 1.6 million people work while he thinks. That's leverage. You're told to save 10% of your salary. They're told to own 10% of the market. You're told to budget and cut expenses. They're told to invest and expand risk. It's a completely different game. Now let's get psychological. Most people are trapped not by poverty, but by mental poverty. They fear risk. They fear rejection. They fear stepping off the script. They stay broke not because of income, but because of identity. They think small. They think safe. They think temporary. But the 1% are trained from an early age, or they train themselves later, to think in decades, not days. In value, not effort. In leverage, not labor. Let's talk about leverage. There are only 4 ways the 1% scale wealth. 1, people. They hire, delegate, and scale through teams. 2, capital. They borrow money, buy assets, and multiply return. 3, media. They own attention. YouTube, books, IP, ads. 4, code. They build things that run 24/7 without sleep. Compare that to you. You trade time for money. You go to work. You're capped at 24 hours a day. They build income streams that scale infinitely. Naval Ravikant said it best. The world belongs to people who can't be replaced. So why can't most people do it? Because they don't want freedom. They want comfort. And freedom, real freedom, comes with uncertainty, risk, and responsibility. You don't need permission to become rich. But most people are still waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to try. The 1% don't wait. They act. They fail. They adapt. They understand failure isn't a threat. It's the fee for entry. You were raised to avoid failure. They were raised to learn from it. Let's go deeper. The real reason most people stay broke is because they chase dopamine, not dividends. They want the hit now, the Netflix, the phone, the weekend. But wealth isn't exciting. It's boring. It's built in silence. The 1% are addicted to repetition. They repeat the same habits, same systems, same decisions over and over, while the rest switch goals every month. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's what prints money. If you can't focus for 6 months, don't expect freedom for the next 60 years. And here's the most bitter truth. You think you need more motivation, but what you really need is less distraction. You scroll all day looking for answers, but the 1% build things. They don't watch content. They create it. They don't seek validation. They buy freedom. They don't react to life. They architect it. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you said, what if I just built a system that paid me every week, even while I sleep? Because that's how they think. They don't say, I need more money. They say, I need better cash flow systems. They don't say, I'll work harder. They say, I'll build smarter. So what should you do? You don't need to be born rich. You just need to learn the rules. Here's the blueprint, the one no one gave you. 1. Build one skill that prints value, copywriting, sales, storytelling, code, etc. 2. Turn that skill into leverage, products, services, automation. 3. Stop thinking in weeks, start thinking in decades. 4. Do the boring work daily, without emotion. 5. Don't chase money, chase ownership and leverage. Money is not the goal. Freedom is, control is, options are. And finally, if you want to escape the 99%, stop doing what 99% of people do. Stop living in distraction. Stop spending like a slave. Stop seeking approval. Stop following average rules made for average results. Start thinking for yourself. Start building for the long term. Start becoming hard to replace. The world doesn't need more hard workers. It needs rare thinkers. Be one, and the money will follow.